Hi, I'm Chris from airwindows, and I'm bringing you something that's a little different as usual. I guess I always say that, don't I? But this is different from something that I already brought you a little while ago. Here's CrunchyGrooveWear. CrunchyGrooveWear is a variation off the GrooveWear plugin that I did, which itself is a variation off of 2Vinyl 4, and it's different because it's kind of like this. Here's GrooveWear. Notice it darkens stuff up nicely. GrooveWear also has this interesting dry-wet control that lets you do multiple stages. Like, this is not just a dry-wet control, it is a dry-wet that goes 1/4 is one stage of GrooveWear, half is 2 stages, 3/4 is 3 stages, and all the way is 4 stages of GrooveWear. And if you're not using the stages, they're not in the circuit. It's actually the same for CrunchyGrooveWear, I just renamed it Apply. And if you're interested in the technology of doing that, if you're a plugin designer or something, then look at the source code, because this is open source. But that said, GrooveWear is made to be kind of dark. Is this what it really sounds like? And as you can hear and see, it does a very effective job of smoothing stuff off. Well, the original version of GrooveWear in 2Vinyl 4 and the earlier 2Vinyls, there was a funny sort of bug in there. I think it's still present because 2Vinyl 4 was meant to honor the sounds of earlier 2Vinyls. And there's an overshoot quality. And well, I'll just show you what that does. CrunchyGrooveWear sounds like this. Kind of interesting, huh? So it's using the same unusual algorithm that GrooveWear used, which is averaging the rate of change of the rate of change of the rate of change is aura. That's coming later. But GrooveWear averaged the rate of change, or the slew, of the audio. Well, CrunchyGrooveWear does that overshoot that I was talking about, meaning that you get a funny sort of resonance, an edge, an aliveness that's also characteristic of aura, but I'm bringing out CrunchyGrooveWear because people were asking for the original quality available, and I was able to expand it a little bit. Much like the final version of GrooveWear, the range is expanded. So what in 2Vinyl could only go this far, with CrunchyGrooveWear, you can go farther. You'll also notice that there are some interesting quirks about the way that the frequency is averaged. You can dial in edges in funny places. You'll also notice it's got a sort of exciter-like quality, and it's adding a little energy. And then at 0, it's not really doing anything. So you can use this overshoot quality to bring a bright edge on stuff. And then if you have the frequency set right, but the intensity is too much, because having 4 stages of it, I'm doing on purpose to let it be kind of extreme. what you can do is turn apply down, which is the same as turning dry wet down in GrooveWear. But since you know that it's 4 different stages of it, it's dry wet to one stage, and then dry wet to another stage added to the first one, and then dry wet to a third stage, and so on. What you can do is cut it back, or cut it back more. If you want, I'm going to hold down Option to exactly get 2.5. And this is going to give me literally exactly one stage of CrunchyGrooveWear. So I can dial that in, and you can hear that although it does give the tonality of this plugin, it is not as extreme an effect as using it in 4 of them in series. So, a little lift. That caught up with the crunch on the guitar a little bit. And what we've got here, it turned into a sort of interesting lift of the bass. Since the frequency is so far over, it does cancel out the extreme highs a bit. And as it's doing that, you have this funny sort of just energy going on. Again, this is CrunchyGrooveWear. This is a kind of distortion. If you were to use the GrooveWear without that quote-unquote bug in it, what you would have is, let me set it up exactly the same. You'd have this. And it's taking out some of the highs, but just one stage is not super obvious. But then, if we compare it, with your CrunchyGrooveWear, we have a funny sort of overtone going on here. And again, if you'd like it to be more extreme, oh, that's bright. That's so bright. A lot of extra energy in there. And again, we'll compare it with GrooveWear itself. I feel these are kind of different in a way, because it was taking some fancy coding to get it so that the dry wet and like the GrooveWear is correctly applying things, whereas CrunchyGrooveWear has a bug in the way that the algorithm goes together, making it easier to have it be a separate plugin. And you can tell that it sounds like a separate plugin when I do this. There's your GrooveWear. And CrunchyGrooveWear. Oh, let's see what happens if I do this. Both. So that was definitely a bit strange. Here, let's find something else amusing. Oh, I don't know. Stealth Kit Jam, maybe? One thing that happens with the CrunchyGrooveWear is you can sure dial in a bunch of crazy bright. Let's pull this way down and explore that again. Yeah, see, that's digging into the tambourine in a scary kind of way. And there we found the shaker. Oh, let's go over to this one. And there's where the hi-hats are. So I've just boosted the hi-hats by some horrifying amount. And we've got a lot of stuff like that. For instance, here's just a drum recording. It's not a good recording, but it's a drum recording of kind. This is the area where the cymbals live. Darker and much brighter. So there you have it. This is the sort of debugged version of GrooveWear, where I found the crunchy area that was causing it to go extra bright and fixed it so that it smoothed everything out the way that it was sort of originally intended to do. And this is where I put it back. So if you're the person who likes using this, you probably know who you are. It is free, as always, because I'm Patreon supported. I would also point out that if you like me doing this kind of thing and would like to see other people doing this sort of thing and getting excited about the whole Patreon stuff, it would help if I became a Patreon celebrity, or at least a very successful Patreon person. But, you know, I'm going to give you the plugins anyway because that's just how I roll. Here is CrunchyGrooveWear, and I hope you like it. Thanks.